And welcome to our October edition of Sports Highlights. Glad you're with us for our monthly interview show since February of 1992. My name is Greg Bickaveris. Glad you're with us in the studio today. And of course, our program airs on Mondays at 7 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m., weekends at 9 a.m. on Cox Cable 47 and FiOS 17 as well, all over social media, all over YouTube. Our guests for October are Alonzo Coley and Jeremy Scott. Let's welcome Alonzo Coley, the head football coach at Woodside High School. Good to see you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Of course, you've been an assistant at Phoebus, and you were the head coach at Kickingham, so welcome to Newport News.
Yeah, it's been a little bit different coming in and seeing some things, and I'm glad to see some of the new things that I've seen here in Newport News. It's been pretty exciting.
Of course, Paul Macklin, he hired you, and of course now he's at Phoebus.
Yeah, funny how things work out and how we kind of change spots on each other, but I'm excited for him to be there, and I know I still talk to him all the time.
And you taught one of his kids, correct?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your time at Kickingham. How was that? Because you were there for a long time.
I was there for 8 years as the head coach. I still taught there for 4 more years after that. So yeah, it's been there 12 years. Saw a lot of changes, things coming through. Had some success there. When you go there, you gotta try to change the culture. Same thing I'm trying to do here at Woodside.
Now, how was the culture at Phoebus? I mean, they win every single year. We televised their game against Warwick last year, but whether it was Bill D or Stan Sexton or the coach now, it seems like that's a winning culture.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to work with all 3 of those guys. One of the few people that has done that. I got to see the culture being built. I got to see it being, kind of changed and morphed a little bit, but still going back to hard-nosed football and being disciplined.
What makes them that good every year?
The work ethic.
Right.
How much time kids put in, how much time the parents support the program, those kind of things.
Because for a long time, Alonzo was Bethel and Hampton winning state championships, and Phoebus has won so many now. And of course, you're trying to change the culture at Woodside. And of course, like you said, 3 different coaches the last 3 years at Woodside. That has not been easy for anybody.
It hasn't. And as we are bringing my staff in, I wanted to make sure that we told them, hey, you know what, we're here. We're here to support everybody. Try to get some stability and some toughness, and just making sure the kids believe in what we're trying to get done.
It's so nice to have Alonzo in season in October right here on our show while he's still practicing every day and coaching every day. How do you like playing at Todd compared to Darling Stadium?
Oh man, the new turf is really, really, really nice. I really like that. It's definitely an upgrade. Definitely is a great thing for our city. It's a little different, coming down here and seeing some things. The other day we pulled in and I'm looking like, I'm in the other locker room now.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different for me.
Yeah. So when you talk about your structure, your game plan, your practice, do you have a certain routine that you like to do every day?
Absolutely. And we are, I feel like you got to maximize every second with our kids, and we're changing offensively, defensively, the whole thing for these students. So, some of these guys have been doing it for 3 or 4 years a certain way, and trying to get them to buy in and get some things has been a little tough. So we definitely got to do very, very structured, very, very disciplined, and accountability is a big part of what we do.
Very good. We're talking to Alonzo Coley. He's the head football coach at Woodside High School. He was the head football coach at Kickingham High School. And you talk about next year it's going to totally change because Gloucester is not going to be in the Peninsula District.
Yeah, a little bit of a change there. It means we're going to have to try to go out and find another opponent to play. Sad to see those guys go. They've been a good part of our district for a long time.
Because you have to get a new opponent every year anyway, non-district.
Right.
So that's going to be now +2.
Yeah.
I was telling you 40 years ago, it's been that long. Bethel played Hampton twice, once in the regular season, once, as a non-conference, and then, of course, once toward the end in the regular season, too. So stuff does happen. But, of course, each coach has their own philosophy. Your offensive and defensive philosophy, Danny liked the wing tee a lot.
We are a gap scheme spread option team. We run a normal power ISO counter, and then we like to get the ball out in space to our athletes. Making sure a lot of guys touch the football. I want to get a lot of people involved and making you have to defend the whole width of the field. On defense, we run a 3-3 stack. We run multiple coverages. Try to bring a lot of pressure, get the guys to a lot of hats to the football. So
Right. Do you like the same structure as far as your quarterback to be able to throw as well, or mostly a run type based team?
I want to play towards our personnel. And we got a lot of athletes, so we want to try to get to throw the ball out to them a lot. So we try to do that thing.
And I joke with you about special teams, but an onside kick is a big deal.
Special teams is really important. We spend
Yeah.
a half hour every day on that. I feel like we have one of the best kickers around, and it's definitely a big part of what we do.
It affects college and professional teams both. They can't kick that field goal. I always tell coaches the same thing. Go to the soccer team and find your kicker and punter right there.
Yeah.
Because they kick naturally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk about what has changed for high school football mostly, especially since 1991, is you see a lot more kids transferring from one school to another, sometimes from a different city. Has that affected you at Kecoughtan, Phoebus, and also Woodside?
Oh, absolutely. And I definitely feel like coming up, these guys kind of have gone to different youth leagues and those kind of things. So, and we're seeing it at our level too, where guys are just, hey, when something doesn't go their way, it's time for me to leave and go someplace else. With that being said, we try to make sure that kids understand that we're here to support them. We're here to grow their mentality, not just football, but in life as well. So hopefully they'll latch on to that and stay with us.
Right, and talk about your assistant coaches. That's a big deal too.
Yeah, I was very, very lucky to have, we got 6 coaches in the building. I got 2 guys that are on my staff. Our 2 coordinators have some college experience. I got one of our assistant coaches, was a former pro player, and so I'm really lucky to have 14 guys on staff. I never had that at Kecoughtan, so that's something I'm really excited about our staff. I think our staff has done a really good job.
Because you mentioned, like, the older you get, you like to delegate more.
Well, I find that you found you can't do it all.
Right.
And when you try to do everything, things get you miss things. So being more of an observer now and kind of overseeing some more things, I feel like you pick up all the smaller details.
You're like the CEO.
Correct.
The orchestrator too. We're talking to Alonzo Coley, the head football coach at Woodside High School. One thing too is always the game times, different times. Of course, you had played Bethel. 10 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. Your kids are up early anyway for school. They have to be there early.
Right.
But how much of an adjustment is that on a weekend?
Oh, that's different, man. I mean, normally we bring them in like 4.5 hours before a game. So, yeah, we weren't doing it 6:30. That's tough. So that's definitely a different thing. The meal times, the meeting times, all those things have to change when you're going at 10 o'clock, so it's a little different.
Right, very good. Of course, during the summertime it's wide open, but practice can be anything too. What needs to be worked on? Is it the fundamentals that you see now as we're midway through the season, offense, defense, or special teams? I guess you're always tweaking.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think right now football is kind of under attack, so you have to make sure all of our players are fundamentally sound, and we're taking all those things to protect them and learn and do the proper techniques to make sure that they're successful. So that's it for now.
There's so much with passing leagues and summer camps. Are you big into the summer camps for your players?
I am. I definitely think you have to be selective though. Some of those things can kind of be money grabs and traps for young men. So you gotta coach your kids and tell them, hey, what's good, what's not, where to go and what's out there for them.
Mm-hmm. Talking to Alonzo Coley, Greg Bickaveris, glad you're with us for our October show. Hard to believe we're already in the 4th quarter of 2024. It goes by quick. Creatures of habits, whether it's kids or adults, being at practice on time, being at the game on time, being on the bus at time, especially when you're going on the road. That's not an easy task for teenagers.
It's not, but you got to practice it every day. So, structure and discipline is something that you have to work on consistently. It's not something you can just try to do. It's a game time. I gotta turn it on. No, you got to do that. Like you said, in March. Hey, workout time starts here. We got to make sure we're starting on time.
Right. What did you learn from the late Bill D?
I learned a lot. One of the best things I learned about from him was repetition and how he was big about you got to do everything 21 times. It was crude. He said on the 20th time, now your brain kind of gets it as a routine. So you try to get 21 reps. I mean, and now it's yours. You mastered it.
Yeah, because a lot of times you saw the way Danny Dotson coached, because you went up against him. He would do the wing T and do the same run over and over and over again. So every style is different. Mm-hmm. But your thoughts about repetition as far as practice or more so for games?
For practice. Mm-hmm. You gotta get your guys to understand exactly. I like the old Bruce Lee thing where I got to do those kicks 1,000 times. And I'm going to do the one time, I'm going to get it. So we got to make sure our kids understand exactly all the fine and minute details of everything they're trying to do.
But Alonzo, you have to improvise during the game. If you see something what a team is doing in the first quarter, you might do totally different in the second or third quarter.
Well, I feel like you've prepped your young men to take on all situations, and we go through a lot of situations that we can kind of do some things. So I feel like we put a lot of tools in the tool belt, but we're kind of fine tuning every little detail. Talking
to Alonzo Coley, and of course going from Hampton to Newport News, there's changes, but the bottom line is you want to win, and you got to keep the kids' academics straight too.
Most definitely, we follow our young men pretty tight and make sure everything's on the point. Please making sure they're really about going to class, making sure they're on time, doing their assignments and those kind of things. We are sticklers about those things from our young men.
Right. You need a support system, like you said, whether it's your assistant coaches, the principals, the trainers, whatever, the academic support people. It takes a lot. Football is a big deal. There's a lot of people playing. There's varsity and JV. How is your JV program?
Definitely up and coming. That's one of the good things about having all those teachers in the building. Having 6 coaches in the building helps out with getting those young players to come out. And freshmen are you gotta mold them and kind of get them to understand what you're looking for. So we're working on that.
Are there any players, the seniors especially, that have played for all 3 of the coaches the last 3 years?
Oh, there's a bunch. I mean,
really?
There's about 15, I think, that played for all 3 of us. So
yeah,
it's a lot for those guys.
Yeah, a lot of that we did this way, we did it that way. But the bottom line is Woodside's always had a successful program. Last year was a tough year, but Dotson always did very well in the regionals. And I know you want to take it to the next level. You want to go to the state eventually.
Absolutely, that's definitely the goal. And I always try to talk to Coach Dotson because he's got a lot of little nuggets and things, and I try to steal from him too.
And of course, do you think he'll be a head coach again?
Absolutely.
Okay, very good, very good. All the best to you, Alonzo, the head football coach at Woodside High School in his first year, but he's coached at Kecoughtan and he's been an assistant at Phoebus, and you've got DMV roots too, correct?
Yeah, I'm from Maryland. I coached football and basketball there for 10 years. So
very good. Well, you're an asset to Newport News, and we appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
All right, that was Alonzo Coley. Stay tuned for our next guest, Jeremy Scott, on our October edition of Sports Highlights. Stay tuned.
You're watching NNPS TV. Catch sports highlights on Mondays at 7, 2, and 7, and on Saturdays and Sundays at 9 a.m. Visit us online at nnpstv.com to view all your favorite episodes. NNPS TV, watching education happen.
I've been rising up and advancing in my classes.
I've been rising up to be the best student athlete I can be.
I'm rising up as a leader in my school.
I'm rising up to prepare for my future career.
We are all rising up and preparing ourselves for success, thanks to our dedicated teachers and staff in Newport News Public Schools.
Rise up!
And welcome to our second segment of our October show right here on Sports Highlights. Glad you're with us. My name is Greg Bicaveras. Hope you enjoyed our first guest, Alonzo Coley. Let's switch gears from football to baseball. Let's talk to Jeremy Scott. He's the Denbigh Youth Baseball League baseball operations guy. Good to see you.
You too, Greg. Thanks for having me.
We'll talk about the Denbigh Youth Baseball operations.
Denbigh Youth Baseball operations is my exact job. I basically coordinate, scheduling, games, things of that nature. I work hand in hand with the president, the vice president, and all the other board members that are on there who are great. And also in close contact with the parents, the players, because I also coach at Denbigh Youth Baseball as well. So that's a little bit of what I do.
Yeah, and you're from the tri-state area.
I am. I'm from New Jersey originally. I came down to Virginia because of the military. I was active duty in the Army. I got out. My wife came in, Sarah. Hello. And since then, we decided to stay here and just make Virginia our final resting place.
Thank you for what you did for our country.
Absolutely, not a problem.
The fundamentals you learned from the Army, has that helped you with your job, help you with your online college and your day-to-day baseball stuff?
Absolutely. A lot of things that I learned in the military, I do apply to both my professional job, what I do for this baseball league, and my household as well. Just day-to-day stuff, and of course, college. Speaking about baseball in this league and how I coach, I do use a kind of like a military way of approach, I should say, because it never leaves you. Even though when you get out of the military, it still sticks with you. A lot of military people would tell you that. And I expect, integrity is a big thing of mine. Never quitting. My son, Zach, he plays on the team as well. And, whenever you get down or you come across a challenge, never quit, figure it out, learn, adapt, and move forward from there. So.
Yeah, my philosophy is never let the bad days win.
Never let the bad days win, that's correct.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about that too. Let's talk about Denbigh Youth Baseball League. Talk about the ages. Where do y'all play at?
Okay, the ages range from all the way from 3, a little bit younger, but all the way from 3 on way up to about maybe 13, 14 years old. Mm-hmm. That's majors, that's T-ball. We have a high school prep team. And we try to keep everybody together as long as we can. There's a lot of leagues out here where they come and we get players who play for a year and they're like, okay, I'm going to leave over here. But our goal is to keep them there so we can build that rapport, build that team chemistry. So as you're moving up through the ranks and moving up through these leagues that Denbigh Youth Baseball has to offer, we like to keep that camaraderie like that.
And a lot of times you see these kids before they go to high school.
Absolutely.
So you prep them and train them pretty well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very, very, very well.
Well, you got a wooden bat here. Now, do y'all use wooden bats or do you use aluminum bats?
We use aluminum bats mostly. Not so much BB Core, but the USA stamp bats. We use those. We go by Babe Ruth, Cal Ripken regulations, and but this is just a fungo bat that we use for practice, where we hit it off to kids, have them catch grounders, pop flies, things like that. But
there's a lot of dynamics, though, that the public needs to know about baseball, too. It's not just the baseball and the bat. It's the field. Is it wet? Is it dry? How many baseballs do you need to get through a practice? How many do you need to get through a game? Because one thing about baseballs, they're kind of like golf balls. Once you hit them, they can be gone.
It wears down after a while, your gear and things like that. The cool thing about Denbigh Youth Baseball League is when your bat does to wear down, or your glove starts to tear up and the leather starts to crack, and we provide equipment for kids who are playing for us if we have it, and at the same time we tell the kids, perfect example today, we had a practice, we couldn't practice because all this rain for the past few days. Just before I came here, I went over to the fields to check the fields for my coaches, and there was like mud out there, everything is still wet. I told the parents and everybody, I'm like, hey, we can't go out there, not just because it's unsafe and everybody's gonna get muddy, but water, right? It starts to tear away at your gloves, starts to tear away at our stuff. Then we lose that. You got to spend more money. Then we have to wait for that stuff to come in, so we lose time to practice and actually, focus on our goals.
But it can destroy a baseball too.
It can,
or a softball for that matter.
Absolutely.
What's your baseball background? How did you get involved in baseball?
I got involved in baseball originally when I was in high school. I started in JV. I played basketball and I wrestled. Those are my two sports. I was very good at it. A good mentor of mine and coach said, hey, try this sport. Let's see if you can do the All-American thing, that whole, whatever in high school. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. I played baseball for JV. I was good at it. I was really good at hitting and fielding. Not so good at the fundamentals of the game. That's all I knew. I was trying to use my background in basketball and a little bit in football, but wrestling, I was using my body for certain things, knowing how to stop the ball, things like that. And then as far as coaching is concerned, I used to coach at various VBS programs and churches. Started there very, very young. After that, I just kind of kept moving up. I played for a league called Club Walk. I was out there for a little bit, and then here I am today, Denbigh.
Very nice, very nice. And really, a lot of it is fundamentals and repetition and practice that, hitting, pitching, fielding, they're all equal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can't just do one, you have to do all three.
That's what I feel.
Yeah. Now, one thing I noticed about high school and college especially is professional, it's different because they got a lot of relief pitchers too, is that they burn out the kids' arms a lot. Whether you're a right-handed person or a left-handed person, they can only go but so much.
Exactly. So we're on like a 40 pitch count. Mm-hmm. So let's say if we have a game Wednesday and we have to play Thursday, I make sure that we have at least 2 pitchers that are there. After about 40 pitches, whether they're making strikes or balls, we switch them out. Keep them fresh, even though I know a lot of these kids are limber and way better than us, but I tell them, hey, let's switch out, and we go from there. So we're very particular about their safety and very particular about the rules here.
Who determines what position they play?
Usually it's the head coach, and we got a guy who basically scouts out these kids and understands what their strengths are and things like that. And so it's usually the head coach and our head guy, who's our scouting guy. Right. He's always there at every practice, is looking at how they're doing and all that.
Very nice, very nice. Do you try to take them to camps or get them to do more things like that?
Yep, we do hitting and pitching clinics on our own fields on the days off from practices. If not there, we got DBAT, who's been backing this league up for quite a bit. That's where we got this bat, actually. They provide us with some great discounts and great help. We send our kids up to DBAT. If not there, looking into, I believe it's in Chesapeake. I can't really think of the name right now. But yeah, we have various ways of keeping them fresh, keeping them limber, keeping them interested in the game. Not necessarily the league, yes, but more so the game. Keep them out of trouble. Keep them looking toward that.
You're still in the season right now. The season's almost over.
Absolutely. Our season ends November 2nd for fall ball. Mm-hmm. We're looking to start up our spring registration sometime in December for players to start registering. And then coaches can start registering in about February. So,
and that's one thing, too, for all the Newport News school kids. We have 5 baseball programs: Menchville, Denbigh, Woodside, Heritage, and Warwick. They all play baseball, and they all have to start off really in Little League.
That's right. That's right. And that's one of the things that we do with these kids. We're somewhat of a little guy, but at the same time, we're not. We have great experience with our coaches, our staff, our board members, all the way on down to the parents. Professionalism, right? So we show that's where we thrive, and the kids see that. And me being a mentor myself, especially not just my own kids, but with these kids, because it's not just about coaching; it's about mentoring as well. All right. So that's a big thing.
I'm gonna give you a premonition and prediction, although we don't know nothing yet. Just talk about one team specifically.
Sure.
You're from the tri-state area, the Yankees. Will they win the World Series this year?
Absolutely not. I'm not a Yankees fan.
Okay.
I'm a Phillies fan, actually.
Okay.
Huge Phillies fan. And it's funny that you mentioned that. Growing up in New York and New Jersey area, you would expect me to be Mets or Yankees. No, I'm a Phillies fan, and I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
I remember interning in New York. They talk baseball 12 months out of the year there, even during football season.
Absolutely.
They love it there. Okay, well, you talk about some of the places you play at that the public can watch you guys. Where are some of the places you play at?
We normally play at CWCC, or Courthouse Way Community Center. That's right here in Newport News. We play over at Aberdeen. We play Gloucester. As of right now, Anderson Park is a league that we got on the radar right now as well. But mainly, we play at CWCC for our majors team. High school prep team is BC Charles Elementary School. Passage is our T-ball rookie teams. So if you guys got kids out there that are looking to play and want to start, get a good foundation, Denbigh Youth Baseball.
How are your numbers as far as you're always trying to get new kids? The spring
is our biggest.
Biggest, right?
Yeah, we get anywhere from 500 to 600 kids, sometimes more. Fall ball is more like fundamentals. So we get a lot of returning kids from spring who will come down and just kind of holding on their skills, kind of, brush off the edges, the rough edges and things like that. So,
How about lighting when you play in the evening?
CWCC or BC Charles. BC Charles has lights, CWCC has lights. Anywhere else we have like earlier games, we start at like 2, 3 o'clock or sometimes 11 a.m. for the younger kids, especially on the weekends. Nobody wants to waste their.
Yeah. Do you mention the younger kids? Do you have co-ed too as well?
Yes, we do. We have softball as well. My daughter signed up for softball this fall, but we didn't get enough players, but she plays on my team.
Oh, very nice. So we're talking right here and wrapping it up here with Jeremy Scott, Denbigh Youth Baseball League, baseball operations. And, of course, Brandon's involved too, correct?
Yes, Brandon Fournier, that's our president.
And talk about his day-to-day stuff.
His day-to-day stuff is pretty hectic, pretty stressful. I kind of help him out a little bit, and we got our VP who helps out a lot, and everybody else on the board. But day-to-day, he just kind of keeps everybody in line, make sure everything's good, fields are good. Reaching out to the city of Newport News, making sure the lights are on, making sure the parents, everybody's taken care of. Good guy. For sure.
Right, and to have fun too.
Of course.
You got to have fun. And
that's our main mission, right? Out of all of it, fun.
But it's so good to have that extra outlet and activity for mental health too as well.
Correct.
Yes.
Especially now there's been a lot of stuff going on. We're trying to keep these kids, engaged in something positive and get them around good folks.
Well, you guys are doing a good job getting out there in the public and the community. And, of course, baseball, you have to be safe, though, still. I mean,
yes, absolutely.
The helmets are important.
Yeah.
You see a lot of times these girls playing softball will wear face guard when they're pitching.
Yep, we have a lot of those. We switch out our gear at the end of every season, whether it's expired or new or whatever, we switch it out. We make sure we got, first aid on deck and everything, so,
All right, tell us quickly to the parents out there if their kid wants to play.
Absolutely. Denbigh Youth Baseball League is definitely a league for newcomers, or you're just learning the game, or if your player is experienced and is just looking to play, kind of, work out their skills before they go to college or high school or whatever the case may be. Denbigh Youth Baseball League is definitely a league for you. I cannot say that not just because I'm a part of this league, but since I've been here as a parent 3 years ago. I found out that Denbigh Youth Baseball League was definitely the spot for.
Very good. Jeremy Scott, Denbigh Youth Baseball League. He couldn't have said it any better. Baseball operations. Thank you for being on the October show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Greg.
All the best. Good luck to your Phillies.
Thank you.
Just not against the Yankees.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed the October show and our great guests today, Alonzo, Coley, Jeremy Scott. For our wonderful crew and Ray Price, I'm Greg Bicaveras. Happy October, and we'll talk to you soon.